非诚创新带你看非洲创投。大家好，我是李博海。今天呢，我们约了Paul也就是 Wapi Pay 的创始人和 CEO 一起来聊一聊肯尼亚以及整个非洲的金融科技领域的这个机会还有现状。那么 Paul 呢，其实也是肯尼亚这边非常明星的这个创业者。那之前呢是在Interswitch 还有在 Jumia 都是高管。在早期呢是在这个 Stanbic 银行所以他有超过20年的这个金融科技领域的经验。那么今天我们来跟他请教一下，看看他怎么看这个肯尼亚金融科技的领域的机会，还有发展的一些方向。OK, let's do it. Okay, let's start it.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Paul.
Same here. Welcome to Nairobi, Vincent.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
Same here.
First maybe we can have a very short introduction to Chinese audience about your background.
Yes. Well, hi China, ni hao. My name's Paul Ndichu. I co-founder and CEO of Wapi Group. Wapi Group is a fintech venture based out of Africa, but incorporated in Singapore, and also we've got teams in San Francisco, Africa, and Singapore. My background is in fintech. I think my co-founder and I have a combined experience of about 20 years. Previously, I was the CEO of Interswitch in East Africa. Before that, I worked for Jumia as a VP there, as I mentioned, and before that I was working for a bank as a head of payments and director for payments and digital banking. And my original foundation actually started with Cellulant, where I was the chief of business. And that gave me a lot of good experience as well.
Cellulant is also a very successful startup here.
Yes, in Africa.
In Africa.
Yes.
Cool. So you are the very senior person in the fintech field in Africa.
Experienced.
Experienced.
Oh, I think looking at experience, my co-founder is my identical twin brother as well. The experience we've had even with him in working in KCB, he was previously the managing director of Pay and Okash. So a lot of vast experience, and we founded the company Wapi Group about 2 years ago. We officially started operations in 2019, incorporated out of Singapore. We've got a few teams in Singapore, a larger team in Kenya, and some developers out of China, which is very exciting. We are a fintech business that's doing or processing global payments for corporates and clients such as banks. And we're looking to build an ecosystem of global international payments. To make them more efficient, to make them more faster, and eventually scale our fintech to across Africa.
Cool. Since you have so much experience in fintech sector, so can we maybe you can share with more about what is happening here and all the history of the fintech in Africa and in Kenya?
Yes. Well, I mean, it's very hard to disseminate between the noise and what is really actually happening. I think 2019 was the most successful year for Africa in fintech. I think we've seen the largest investments happen within 2019.
Yes.
The first two unicorns actually came out of Africa, Interswitch and Jumia, that I both worked for.
Yes.
But there's a lot of opportunity for developing startups. A lot of them, I think, are still on the idea stage. You've got a big percentage that are not well known, that are in the middle. So they've proven the product proposition in the market. They may be not profitable, but they've actually acquired customers. And they're building the business model as they grow. They're trying to scale out of Africa. I think what a lot of startups in Africa miss is exposure. So what you're doing, Vincent, is excellent, and the collaboration you're doing with Future Hub as well is very interesting. If we can get fintechs to be exposed a little bit more about what they're doing, I think that will help the ecosystem. There's opportunity for collaboration. I think looking at our business model, which is with Wapi Pay. We process payments between Africa and Asia.
Yeah.
Right now, as a net importer, Africa, there's about $200 billion plus that gets imported into Africa. That means someone has to pay for those goods and services in Asia. And for us, we saw a fantastic opportunity to build not just the trading or the trade within those two continents, but for the small traders, the big corporates, anyone dealing business with Asia has an opportunity and needs to get a better service when it comes to payments.
Of course. And speaking of the fintech landscape in Kenya, so which are the promising aspect here?
Yeah, I mean there's probably 3 or 4 different strokes of fintechs that I think are very promising. I think payments is well on top of them. I think the last 3 years we've seen lending come up very quickly. I think in some parts of Africa it's saturating a little bit. And the business models are being questioned whether it will surpass another 10 years. The other big one is remittances and cross-border payments. That's also growing very fast. As you see more trade facilitating between not just the local African countries, but within the rest of the world, remittance has become a big opportunity. And then you've got the other smaller niches such as insurance. We've got some very interesting startups come up on insurance. We got to see one of them win a very big award in Singapore, the Singapore Fintech Festival. We were there with the regulator, very exciting
it's
business.
African
startup team in InsurTech. So they insure farmers. So that was an interesting one. So those are the sort of the main areas we see in fintech happening. I think a lot of the other ecosystem on fintechs are actually solution providers. That's a big part of African ecosystem. B2B business. So they either build for banks or large corporates, the financial technology solutions. I mean, there are quite a number right now in the market.
I see. So it's quite a vibrant ecosystem, huh?
No, it is. It is. I think everyone's trying to find a footing, especially when it comes to how do you make money? Because that's the reality about the business models.
Of course.
A lot of the startups, of course, do not get the right guidance into how to build a business model and actually be profitable. We see that there's an opportunity for Future Hub to also guide some of these companies, and that's why we're working together.
Yes, absolutely. And speaking of the environment here in Kenya, I would say it's very friendly. So you have lots of because so it's very open environment. So you can try different things. You can try different business here, especially fintech, and there's a lot of banks here. So I think that it's very good to test your idea here in Kenya in fintech field. And also there's another the milestone thing. It's very good thing is about M-Pesa. Because as everyone knows that M-Pesa is the leading mobile money in Africa, and in Kenya it has like more than 90% penetration. So maybe
talk a bit about them.
We are kind of curious.
I think 3 strokes on again back to M-Pesa. I think the regulatory environment is very open. I think that's a big benefit for not just for Kenya but for other African countries. It's not been successful in many other countries, only in Kenya. I think that's an element of culture. There's a big culture difference between each and every country in Africa out of the 54. So it's not homogeneous market. You have to really spend time in understanding the product features that you launch. In South Africa it wasn't a success. In Kenya it's a big success because of the regulatory environment. There's a big need in terms of people sending money between each other. So there was already a gap that was not being fulfilled. And also the aggressive acquisition. They really spent a lot of time and investment in acquiring not just agents but also customers themselves, and then they built what you would call the network effect. Once they got to the 1 million customers, to get to the next, to become to the next 10 was not too difficult as a large telco. But I honestly believe, and it's a good thing we're doing this and having this discussion for Africa. I think within the startups within Africa, there's an opportunity to build 10 M-Pesas. And I think it's for the investors out there to look into this market very keenly and say, where are we going to build fintechs and not just another M-Pesa, where are we going to build financial technology solutions that actually become as big as what M-Pesa has been able to deliver.
I see. Very interesting. So why not we do some demo and see some major features of M-Pesa?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let me change another angle. Yeah.
Let's say I want to go to M-Pesa. This I can see my apps are all there.
Yeah.
Go to my Safaricom.
Okay. So first is application, right?
Yes, it's an app.
Okay.
Officially, M-Pesa didn't start as an app. It started as a USSD toolkit.
I see.
Then I'll also walk you through the USSD toolkit. But you go to your M-Pesa there, you can see all the features. You can send money.
Send money, withdraw, buy airtime.
You can Lipa M-Pesa is the merchant services.
Merchant
so
services.
You can pay merchants.
Okay.
Then you got loans and savings.
Loans.
And you got my account.
My account. Okay.
Fuliza is a new service, which is an overdraw service, which you can do on M-Pesa as well. And then you've got international money payments.
International, okay.
So you can send M-Pesa to Tanzania or Uganda or any other market.
I see. And how do you withdraw and deposit? So you're gonna to go to an agent?
Yes, I got an agent deposit money.
So you give cash to him?
Agent, they load it, and then you're able to give me my balance. I have to type in my PIN. So, I'll cover here.
Sure.
To show you the balance. Seconds, you can see my balance there. Then if I want to send money, I'll just come here, pick for my phone book.
Okay.
Let's say I want to send to my brother there.
Okay, so the phone number,
Yes,
phone number.
from my phone book.
I see.
Click continue. It will tell me the charges. Send his name. And I'll type PIN.
Sure.
And then 9. Transaction successful.
I see.
So that I've sent him a bit of money. I can either do that or I can go withdraw this value. Also withdraw it at an ATM as well.
I see.
I can also go to merchants. For example, our bill that we're having here today with the coffee. I'll be using this.
I see. I see.
And then
So for the merchant, they has a kind of a till number, and you just input the till number and then you transfer money to them.
Correct.
I see.
You've got your Fuliza, which is overdraw services. This allows you to go over and above your limit. So you can see my limit there is 12,000. So I can go -0 on my account.
I see. So it's kind of a credit, huh?
It's credit, yeah.
Okay, I
So
see.
it gives you a limit, you can go to a negative value.
I see. I see.
You can also send to PayPal as well. If you need to top up and make payments with PayPal, you can also send to Western Union and other international.
I see. I see. Cool. What if
This is what M-Pesa started.
Yeah.
Before the app, 7 years ago, it was Office SIM Toolkit, where you come to your SIM Toolkit and you'd have the basic services there.
I see. So even people they don't have a smartphone, they can also use this toolkit.
Correct.
I see.
It's very functional. So what the ecosystem for fintech and what M-Pesa has done is it's been able to allow other fintech providers to connect to these M-Pesa services through APIs.
I see.
And whether I'm dispersing a loan or getting my loan payments accepted,
I see.
the fintechs that sit in between. So what M-Pesa is trying to achieve now is become a platform.
I see.
This allows for other fintechs to innovate, whether in insurtech, whether it's in merchant payments, whether it's in loans and credit, or any other type of business, or even social. I've seen TikTok now that's come up recently.
Yeah.
So, banking by banks, also integrating to M-Pesa, and the ecosystem is really expanding since the last 6 years.
Cool. Okay, Paul, and that's about M-Pesa.
Yes.
So and also you mentioned that you are doing some very great solutions for cross-border remittance. So you make connection between M-Pesa and WeChat. So can we see how you do it and how you
So I'm gonna take you back to my phone.
Yeah.
And I'll fire you up the Wapi Pay app. So initially, the consumer proposition, we built it as an API. So we've given it also to banks to put it in in their apps. We've given it to remittance companies to put it on their apps.
I see.
And for us, we're very excited to be soon launching this as well. You come to send money, so you can see in CNY there. I click 50 CNY, which is 750 shillings. I type in the amount, a mobile number, 2962049.
So now you're sending money from a Chinese account to
my M-Pesa.
From
to
your
WeChat.
M-Pesa. Oh, okay.
To WeChat.
I see.
I click this, accept terms and conditions. Hang on. Didn't type the right mobile number there. It tells me you want to send money. It's saying it's processing the transaction. You can see it's taking me to my M-Pesa PIN.
Sure.
STK push. And then what it does, it generates a QR code. And then once the QR code is generated, it will send me an SMS with the QR code. And then the QR code is shot over to the beneficiary. The beneficiary scans it off their WeChat account, and the value is credited to their WeChat.
I see.
So it's very straightforward. It takes less than 20 seconds
Wow.
to actually complete the transaction end to end.
Okay.
And we believe it's actually created a bigger ecosystem. We want to power it to more platforms, not just WeChat. We want to also connect to Grab. We want to connect to Southeast Asia platforms, all the way from Singapore down to Vietnam. And that's the work we're
That's
currently
cool.
doing.
And also you solve a big problem and you just reduce the time and also reduce the cost, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
Before it used to take, you look at even the direct-to-bank transactions into China would take 4 days, 3 to 4 days.
Yeah.
And it takes 3 to 4 days, using the normal routes, which is the bank routes. And the cost, the exchange rate between converting Kenya shillings to US dollar and then to CNY costs probably lose up to 15% of the value in terms of forex losses.
Okay, and then you
reduce that to about 5%.
I see.
We made us process STP, so we can actually deliver value within a matter of seconds from platform to platform. And then from bank account transactions, because you're operating out of Singapore, we've been able to build a compliance team, an anti-money laundering team, and a treasury desk that help us process also bank account transactions out of Singapore to be able to deliver value within 24 to 48 hours.
Cool.
So that's very exciting for us.
Yeah. That's a great solution.
A lot of opportunity in building that ecosystem. Even as we roll out to more African countries, we see the growth actually being quite
I see. That's wonderful. Cool. That is a wonderful solution. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
So you'll find a lot of other fintechs have been able to layer their services off the mobile money rails. So I know we've talked a bit about M-Pesa, but there are other mobile money players that are quite big across Africa. There's MTN. There's Airtel Money as well. There's Tigo Cash.
Sure.
So being able to layer our services on top of mobile money is very exciting. And being able to build our services by connecting the two corridors. I think as we grow our compliance team, our tech team out of China, we will become better at building and making the solution more efficient. Our vision for us in the next 2 years or so is to be a very large international payment service provider, offering global accounts. So whether I'm a trader in the middle of Mozambique or I'm a trader in the middle of Ghana, I can set up an international payments global account with Wapi Pay and be able to process payments with Asia anytime I want to.
Okay.
And then that will facilitate my trade even better, because what we're really doing is connecting individuals, Africans, to not just manufacturing world in China and Asia, but also the inverse. We're also connecting to the large population out of Asia to Africa.
Cool. That's wonderful. So what about your long-term vision? So what is Wapi Pay?
Well, I think the long-term vision is to process $1 billion within the next 2 years.
Okay.
It's a very ambitious target. I think it's achievable. We've seen the traction kicking in. We want to fully set up offices in Southeast Asia, starting with, I know we've got some teams, a smaller team in Singapore. We want to set up in Hong Kong, in Indonesia, and Japan. And of course, we expand the team a little bit in China. And then on this side of the continent, we want to open up to 10 African countries. mostly having them within the main corridors. So you've got the west, the north, the east, and the south.
So basically, you're trying to expand everywhere in the globe.
Correct. And also look for more partners. Encourage more partners to collaborate with us. We're gonna be having a trip together sometime soon. In April to come see some partners. We're gonna have a roadshow as well to visit some Chinese banks who would like to cooperate with us. And also build the ecosystem as we go along.
That's wonderful. And also, since there's growing interest from Chinese investors and entrepreneurs coming into Africa, especially in Fintech sector. So, what would be your suggestion to them, and what kind of business they can provide add value here?
Well, in the fintech sector, I think you need to do what you're doing, Vincent. You need to spend time in Africa and visit the countries. You need to really understand the business model. One thing I know for a fact, which is why I'm learning Mandarin, is the communication barrier is quite
huge,
real.
Huh?
It's huge. And it's very hard for a local startup in Africa to explain their business model to Chinese partners. It takes time. It takes a lot of communication. It's both physical, oral. It's documentation and try to understand the business model.
But anyway, we have to do it and have to do it better.
Yes, correct. I think more partners coming in, such as Future Hub, allows that conversation to happen. And when that happens, then it means that more opportunities will be exposed to startups. Startups that have actually proven their product worthy, they've taken it to customers, there's real traction. And they can get better at not just building the tech side, but also building the business model. There's a lot we can learn from China on the tech side. I think your teams, at least the developers we have been working with right now out of Shenzhen, the level of skill is absolutely very different to the rest of the world. And it's to allow these startups to tap into those opportunities from a skill set point of view. And then build better products. I think there's more collaborations to be had.
And also very happy to see the collaboration happening.
It is. It is
cool. And I think that's we talk a lot.
I know today. It's a long conversation.
It's a long conversation.
But come to Africa, visit Africa. It's beautiful. We'd love to have you visit some of the startups. The companies here are growing. Some of them are scaling very fast. But come have a look, have a conversation with them, invite them over, and let's keep the conversation
and
going.
Also come to China.
Of course, I'm coming.
Let's go to China
in Singapore,
and make some more connections with Chinese investors and partners.
Absolutely.
Looking forward.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Paul.
Okay, thank you so much.